Hi, Paul Slatkis, Good News Broadcast, speaking to Gary Harpst. Hi, Gary. How are you?
Doing great.
Excellent. You and I think I've had a lot of experience with a lot of different people here to get to this. What did it say? Like 101 years of talent in your company. But the book you've written now, it's called Six Disciplines, Execution, Revolution, Solving the One Business Problem That Makes Solving All Other Problems Easier.
Yeah.
Okay. What is that? Are you able to tell us, or is it a secret? What is that one problem?
No, it's not a secret. That's how this book got to be a bestseller. But the one problem is not what most business leaders think. They typically, when you ask them what their biggest problem is, will answer in terms of something that is right in front of them, like a competitor or opening a new office or a cash flow problem. But in fact, the real problem is that if they overcome today's problems, they'll have bigger ones tomorrow. That's kind of ironic, but anytime you solve today's problems, you grow, and if you grow, you have more people, more competitors, bigger competitors, more cash flow issues. So that's the mindset change we're trying to get leaders to understand is your current problem isn't the problem. It's building an organization that knows how to set a plan, execute it, change directions if you need to.
So is that like preparing for success?
Yeah, well, it is like preparing for success. It's kind of like walking and chewing gum at the same time. It's not enough to overcome today's problem. You have to be building the kind of strength that will let you solve tomorrow's.
So is that when things like a 5-year plan and preparing yourself? I think there's like the 5 or 6 P's. Prior planning produces, or poor planning produces poor results, or something. There's a couple more P's in there, but is it sit down? I mean, you have a book. You have a way to go about to do this in this book.
Yeah, I think what's missing is most businesses start with someone with an idea to sell a product or a service, and eventually, if that idea is a good one, the business grows, and then you have 10, 20, 50, 100 people, whatever. And getting 100 people to do something as well as you do it is a completely different kind of skill. And it's the difference between playing a solo and conducting an orchestra. And most people who are trained to play an instrument are pushed over into leading the orchestra, and they don't know how to do it. And it's very complex. And that's why there's a study just recently released by the SBA that said only 3% of businesses at a given point in time in the U.S. are driving the growth in the economy. I don't mean they're driving the economy, they're driving the increase. Only 3%. The other 97% are in more of a maintenance mode. And that shows how hard it is to overcome what we're talking about.
Is there some kind of fact out there somewhere? I remember hearing it, but probably over 90% of the businesses in America are small businesses?
Oh, yeah, it's definitely over 90%. And this statistic I mentioned about economic growth, about 60%, well, 33% of that growth is businesses under 20 employees. That's an amazing number, a third. And 60% is 500 and under, including the 20%. So America's economy, its growth, is driven by small, mid-sized organizations.
Now, I'm a musician, so I can understand a little conductor and someone playing in the orchestra, right? Yeah. So now, if there's 90% of the companies are small companies, and that means then all these 90% of the amount of companies, 20 or under, as you mentioned, have in essence a leader or a founder or somebody. Is that the person we need to work on?
Well, that's the person you need to get to understand what the problem is. The end solution, though, is not the top. It's how do you get everybody in the orchestra playing the right notes at the right time. And that takes a lot of practice. It takes a lot of skill and experience. And the revolution part of this book, back to the, one analogy I give, the Model T car didn't come out of nowhere. It was 100 years into the industrial age that steel had been steel processing had been invented, and oil and remining and those ore mining and those sorts of things. The car came along after all those other things, and then we were able to do mass production. And it's the same way today. The information age has been underway for quite some time, and we've been looking at solving execution problems piecemeal. We've got software to do this or quality programs to do that. Now, all of a sudden, we've got all the core pieces combined with the Internet that we can attack this very old problem of execution in a brand new way. And that's what the revolution part of this is. We couldn't have used this new approach until the last few years.
You have here 4 steps to employ a strategy for execution. What are those?
Well, those are the 4 key building blocks for making execution last. And one of them is a methodology. You know, if you build a house, there's a step-by-step process for doing that. If you want to build a business, there's a step-by-step process for doing it. That's one. The second one is accountability. People, it's like a fitness program. A lot of people go on diets but don't stay on them. You need some way, somebody outside the organization to hold your feet to the fire, so to speak, and to stay on the program. The third is technology to make it easier. Today's internet world, people work at home, they work in hotels, remote. We're just very distributed, so you do need technology to make it easier. And the fourth one is sharing information. You know, the big companies have whole departments to research how to do these best practices, but small, mid-sized organizations can use the internet and share information at much lower cost than big companies.
You say here something about internal errors. Is that would that like be if someone doesn't share information?
Well, yeah. The analogy there is that use software, for example, or let me use building a house. If you fix an error at the blueprint stage where you're drawing pictures, you and your spouse are looking at it and say, let's move that window. It's a lot less expensive to do it when it's on paper than you built the house. The same thing's true in catching an error in a business, catching a strategy error or catching an individual execution error clear down at the bottom of the organization. The sooner you can catch that, the less expensive it is. And most organizations don't have the tools, the programs, the systems to help knowledge workers detect errors earlier. So that's part of this revolution.
All right, this book is a revolution. A lot of good things here. 6 disciplines, execution, revolution, solving the one business problem. And then you have a good website here, too, which has, here, these are interesting, view the greater Finlay story, view the True Fast story. So these are real, true examples of how people move their businesses forwards?
Yes, they are. Mm-hmm.
That all makes good sense.
.com is the website.
What's good news for Gary?
What is good news for me?
Yeah, what's good news?
Well, the good news is the book is a bestseller.
Okay. We like that. We like good news, and we like when people are happy doing the things that they believe in. Gary also is quite a serious executive, has taken quite a few corporations, moved them forwards into the big multi-million-dollar annual revenues, and so you've walked the talk, I guess.
Yes, I have. I've made every mistake you can make in business to survive.
And obviously he's got a good sense of humor, which probably is the reason also that helps to get him forwards. All right, thank you very much. I enjoyed speaking with you.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Gary. Bye-bye.
Bye.